Hello, I'm Bill McDonald, and I serve as the Dean of Students at the University of Georgia. Today I'm going to talk to you about some of the special considerations that students with chronic illnesses and their families should consider when they're looking to enroll at the college or university of their choice. The time that a student spends identifying a college, visiting the college, ultimately making a decision that they're going to attend that college or university, and then enrolling in the college or university is one of the most exciting times that they've had in their lives up to that point. I know that firsthand from my work with students at multiple campuses across the Southeast. I also know it firsthand by being the father of two college-age students and having experienced their joys and challenges as they enrolled into the institutions that they had selected. So this is a joyful time for students. It's a joyful time for families. It's just one of the great experiences about higher education and starting in their career and finding their place in the world. For students with special needs that connect back to their chronic illness, this is a time that they should pay particular attention to how those needs can be addressed at the campus. So today I would like to share a couple of observations for you to consider. First, as you're going to orientation prior to enrolling, spend some time in identifying the programs and services that the university or college has for you as a student with chronic illnesses. You'll normally find those services in a disability resource center or a student support center or university health center. Campuses want to make sure that our students are successful, and so we're going to have programs and resources ready to serve you, but we need your assistance in doing that. So you need to spend some time with your family identifying those services. If you don't see them up front during your orientation, then stay another day or two and travel across the campus and make sure that you connected with those programs and services and offices depending on the size of the institution. They will be critical for you in your support and making sure that you're successful. Another thing to consider with these resources on campus is how soon, if at all, you should ask for an accommodation. A good rule of thumb, if you had an accommodation in high school, then I encourage you to get an accommodation for college. Now, I respect and understand that some students with chronic illnesses don't see their illness as a disability, and they don't want to violate their sense of privacy and their sense of connection with the campus in that way. But trust me on this, it's far better if you had an accommodation in high school to go ahead and identify yourself to the institution and have that accommodation prepared for you as you enroll into school. I've experienced far too many times students that chose not to present and ask for their accommodation as they were enrolling and got into some class later on in their semester. One student I just dealt with recently waited till the second semester of their senior year before he presented his accommodation because it was his second semester senior year that he experienced a class that really challenged him where he needed to use that accommodation. So if you had an accommodation in high school, go ahead and present yourself early as you enroll to make sure that the school is prepared to assist you. The second area I would encourage you to look at, particularly during orientation, are what are the services and programs that are available to you from the community healthcare providers, and how do those programs and services that they provide meet your special needs that you have with the chronic illness that you are addressing. At many institutions, because of the size of the student population, there is going to be a whole host of resources for health care that are addressed specifically to students and other members of the campus community. So while you're at orientation, oftentimes those services will be present at orientation in some of the activity fairs or resource fairs. Look for those resources. But if you don't see them during orientation, again, take another day, and while you're learning the campus, learn the community and identify those healthcare providers that you will need in order to be successful at school. The more time you put up front before you enroll, making sure that you've identified the physician or care group, Make sure that you've identified whether your insurance is going to be covered or accepted there. Make sure that you've identified how you're going to get to them based on their proximity. The more you'll be successful. You need to also have a plan that you've talked about with your family for how you're going to access those health care providers, either for maintenance or if you have an emergency that needs immediate attention. Again, the proximity is going to come into play here. So if the service is immediately available to you, then that's great. But if it's not, if it's 2 hours away, then you need to have a plan for how you're going to get there for maintenance or an emergency. Once you've developed that plan and you and your family are comfortable with that plan, then you need to share that with the appropriate people. If you live on campus, you need to share it with your RA and the housing officials that you live at. You should already be doing that because you've already asked for accommodation if you had one earlier, and that would be part of the accommodation that you would receive. University housing or residence life would be prepared for that. Or if you live off campus, make sure that your roommates living in the same apartment with you or friends adjacent to you know of your special needs. And so if an emergency arises, or if there's a maintenance issue that arises, they're prepared to assist you with that. So be sure you've identified the resources in the community, have a plan, and make sure that you're ready, that you're comfortable with that, and the appropriate people know about that. The third area you should consider as enrolling in an institution is look at the student culture. How active are students and how aware are students of a variety of needs that students bring to the campus? Every college and university takes a great deal of pride of student engagement and involving students in all facets of the campus. One of those areas is to have student organizations. At my institution, we have upwards of 700 student organizations, and they are run and administered by our Center for Student Organizations. So you will see Centers for Student Organizations at lots of campuses, or the Student Activities Office may be the place where student organizations answer to and register to. But be sure that you've looked at those student organizations and look to see if they have special student groups that look at healthcare issues, and see if one of those groups lines up with your chronic illness and can serve as an advocacy for you and an educational component for you to make sure the campus and the local community knows about not your individual concern, but just special needs that students have from chronic illnesses. Also, look at the Student Government Association. Student government is normally the legislative body for students and the official representative for students. So student government officers serve on faculty committees, serve on administrative committees, interact with different constituents from across the campus and off the campus with the board of directors. Make sure that student government understands that students with chronic illnesses may have special needs and student government may need to advocate for those needs for new and evolving illnesses that students may have, or just better services that the college or university needs to provide. So be sure that you connect with student government to make sure that they are advocating for you too. And then finally, there's going to be a host of mentors, faculty members, staff members, other resources for you on the campus. It's very important that you connect with faculty members and staff members. In fact, I would suggest that you connect at least every semester with one faculty member that you get to know real closely, not just to talk about your chronic illness or special needs there, but to talk about your dreams, to talk about your aspirations, to talk about your activities on campus, to engage them and listen to them for what advice they have for you as you try to navigate the school and find what you're going to do with a major, and then after graduating, what you're going to go do to serve the better society, the bigger society. They can serve as references for you and resources. So be sure to connect with faculty and staff. And in that vein, be sure to connect with student affairs administrators. Every campus is going to have either a vice president for student affairs or a dean of students. Many campuses have both, but they're the chief advocates for you, for all students, and are prepared to connect with you and get to know you and they're very interested in hearing what your ideas on how to improve the overall quality education that we have in higher education. So be sure to look when you get to the campus and identify those student affairs administrators and faculty and establish a personal relationship with them. It'll be beneficial for you now, it'll be beneficial for you later, and one of the greatest joys I have in working in higher ed is to see students that graduated 10, 15, 20 years ago to have stayed in touch with them because we had a relationship and a friendship when they were in school, to find out what they're doing in their work and in their lives and all the things that they're experiencing. So be sure that you've taken advantage of that and connect with them. So in summary, make sure you've identified the services on campus. Again, look for a Disability Resource Center, student support services, or the faculty or staff member that's in charge of being prepared to help you receive an accommodation because of your chronic illness. 2, look for health care providers in the local community, have a plan, be aware of the proximity, talk about it with your family, talk about it with friends, and make sure that you have it in place in case you need it for maintenance or an emergency. 3, look at the student culture and be an active student leader and an active student. Students that are engaged in the life of the campus are far more successful in the classroom. They're also far happier about their experience in college than students that don't take advantage of these opportunities in the culture of students. So be sure that you've looked for student organizations, be sure to connect to SGA, be sure to be an advocate for yourself and to help other people understand issues that students with chronic illnesses face as they're enrolled in the college or university of their choice. And then finally, look for those mentors. Find a faculty member, find a staff member, and make sure you've connected from there. Again, this is an exciting time for you and your family. You're going to experience so many new challenges. You're going to experience so many new wonders. You're going to find your place, and you're going to be able to leave the campus and go be a representative for that campus, and you're going to make a difference in society. As you matriculate into the institution, as you enroll, as you are retained, and as you graduate, make sure that you're paying attention to how we can help you succeed and accomplish the things that you want to. And we're looking forward to having you here this coming year. Take care.